It's been 2 years since Ford Philippines launched here in our market the all-new Everest. And 2 years later, we have it back here with us. So let's see if it's still as good as it was. So what we have here is a top spec 2.0 bi-turbo titanium plus 4x4 variant, which is priced at 2,565,000 pesos, which is right in the middle of the segment. So it's in the middle of the Fortuner, Terra, all its rivals. So it's priced right. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same as before wherever you look. So 2 years later, nothing really has changed in the overall look. Here in front, the Matrix LED headlights, 20-inch wheels right here, and yeah, everything in this, except for a few things. So first, there's no more washer for the front camera. Next, this garnish here no longer says bi-turbo, but that's fine because, well, they used to get removed anyway. Back here, there's no more 4x4 badge. So if you want people to know that you got the most expensive variant, you have to show them your headlights. And now we're inside the Ford Everest Titanium Plus 4x4. And it's still basically the same Everest that we've come to love. So there are a few things that have changed in here. So for one thing, they've changed the steering wheel material from a leather wrapped rim to vinyl. So that honestly kind of feels cheap, unfortunately. I still really miss the old soft leather that they gave us in the previous generation Everest. Then there's some other stuff like fabric here next to the seats. Then we have the material around the E-shifter. So those really honestly don't matter as well, except for the steering wheel. This one really matters to me. But other stuff, these are all fine. Everything else here is still the same Everest that we've come to love, like I mentioned. So the dashboard feels very solid. All the materials feel good, soft touch on the cover of our storage area over there. And we also have this very soft leather on the door panel, very solid feeling everywhere. We have the panoramic sunroof up top. And we have our large screen, so 12.3-inch display for the driver. We have our 12-inch vertical touchscreen infotainment system front and center. Usually we're not a fan of that, but in this case, it has grown on us a lot, and it's actually one of the easiest to use infotainment systems in the industry. So that's one thing that Ford has done really good, although I personally still prefer that it would stay in dark mode compared to the light mode, because the light mode makes it look a bit cheaper. Infotainment, or rather climate controls, are integrated to that. Thankfully, we still have our physical controls. Ford still has not gone away with that, and hopefully they don't. Then other stuff here, we have our E-shifter, so that one still feels better compared to most E-shifters, thanks to it feeling like a normal shifter, really well implemented over there. Then we have our, well, everything else here is of course the same. So large storage under the armrest and our very comfortable front seats, and again our panoramic sunroof on top, which makes this cabin look so much brighter for the titanium variants only. Now we're at the back seats of the Everest Titanium 4x4, and well, nothing has changed here, just like what we saw in front. Well, that's minor stuff here at the back, none at all. Still the same very comfortable seats, one of the best in the segment. Again, that panoramic roof, which this is the third time I've said it already. And then our very nice materials everywhere in this cabin. We still have our control knob for our climate, and our USB-A and USB-C port, household power socket over there, and center armrest here with two cup holders that pop out. And this is still the same case with the third row seats, which is also one of the best in the segment. So I won't go there now because we do have a lot of stuff nowhere to put them. But that's a power folding third row, which makes it also more convenient. And of course, I did fail to show you earlier the space back here, which is also best in class until now, thankfully. So we do have loads of space back there. Now we're driving the Ford Everest Titanium Plus 4x4, and we are very familiar with the Everest and the Ranger lineup already when it comes to driving, because we've tried almost everything already. But still, this, after a few years in the market, still proves to be one of the better options for sure. So let's start with the powertrain. Still the same, a 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine that produces 210 horsepower and 500 newton meters of torque, mated to Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission. So they really haven't done any improvements when it comes to the driving experience. It's still the same thing as what we tried 2 years ago. But well, it makes sense because like the 10-speed automatic transmission is already good when it first came out in this generation, or rather when this generation came out. Plus, well, so the fact that they use it in almost every new model that they have now just really says that they've already somewhat perfected it. So it shifts really smoothly. The gear hunting has gone away from the previous generation. And, well, it's just really complete, at least on this variant. And of course, it's also the most powerful model in the segment right now. Yes, the Toyota Fortuner does come with a more powerful 2.8 liter, but that is not available here in our market. The upgraded engine for that is only available in other markets. And also, NVH installation is still one of the best in the segment. I'm sure you've heard that loud motorcycle that sped past us right now. He's overspeeding. But yeah, it didn't really bother me. It's not really that loud when it comes to this cabin. Also, the road we're on is quite rough, so tire noise is kept to a minimum. Wind noise, you will not be hearing that unless, of course, you're going to be driving way too fast, which, of course, you shouldn't. And there's just one thing that we noticed. So when you honk your horn, it sounds like you're honking at yourself. So the sound actually goes into the cabin really loud. This road is also, well, on the bumpier side. So it's new, but they didn't do it very well. So the ride quality is also one of the best in the segment. So it's very balanced. The old one was very bouncy. This one is just it just balances out the firm and the soft, so it just makes you feel very comfortable regardless of the type of road you're on. If you go through some bumps, potholes, or pretty much anything, it's all good in here. One of the strongest points of the Ford Everest is all around visibility, because everywhere you look there is nothing blocking your view. So look left, look right, look forward, look at your back, you won't have any issue at all when it comes to visibility. Plus we have the 360 camera as well, which is very HD, so that's really nice. And then yeah, it's just the windows are huge. We have the blind spot monitoring, we have huge side mirrors, and also the shape of the vehicle, it's very boxy shape, really contributes to that. It just makes it so much easier to drive. But speaking of easy to drive steering, that's another thing that we really like about the Everest, because it's still light, but unlike the previous generation as well, it's more weighted, which we really saw in the Ford Ranger, especially the Ranger Raptor V6 and turbo diesel, and pretty much every other Ford that you have these days. So it gives you a very good amount of feedback despite the very light feeling that it gives you. So that's all good. As for fuel economy, you can expect around 10 kilometers per liter inside the city, and on the highway around 17 kilometers per liter. And in combined driving mixed conditions, you can expect around 14 kilometers per liter, which are all good considering that this is in fact a 4x4, so it's heavier, and it's also the bi-turbo, so it of course has more power. If you want a more fuel efficient Everest, then for sure you have to go for the 4x2 variants. But what you will be lacking when you get to the 4x2 variants is the suite of Ford Co-Pilot 360 ADAS systems, which you can only get on this variant. So that's one thing that I wish Ford would improve. So considering all the updates that they've done, small, very tiny minor updates, hopefully they do consider giving other variants the ADAS, at least maybe the titanium 4x2 and the sport variants, because well, the ADAS of this is just really good. The Ford really has done their homework when it comes to how these things work, and we really can't complain about anything over here. Also, one thing Ford did remove for the ADAS is the active park assist, the automatic parking system of the Everest. Some people are sad about it, but to me, well, it takes longer than actually parking the car anyway, so it's more of a gimmick than an actual useful feature. So I'm fine with that. Anyway, so the Ford Everest Titanium 4x4, and pretty much every Ford Everest, after 2 years in the market, it still is one of the best in the segment, if not the best. So all its rivals are still in their are all previous generation models. This one is only one of 2 models which have been completely updated. Although this is still based on the previous generation, still it is a new body and all loads of new technology, which none of its rivals still have until now. So that just really sets it apart. Plus again, that price point that I told you earlier of 2,565,000 pesos puts it right in the middle again of all its rivals, the Nissan Terra, Toyota Fortuner, Mitsubishi Montero Sport, Isuzu Mu-X. This sits right in the middle, which puts it in a sweet spot because it gives you everything that you can ask for from all of those models.